Hi, I am Lucas, and this is feedback to Steam pages, starting with Criticality, a short incremental game about splitting atoms and going critical. I don't like that there's no game audio. It seems like slightly low FPS. I don't like the fade to white. As you can see, I'm in the dark, and gamers are often in the dark. The fade to white kind of hurtful to the eyes. Um, in general, I would say this is a pretty bad trailer. I think you want more game audio. It should probably be a bit longer. Um, you want to really show the satisfaction of getting these upgrades and unlocking various things. You want to present the fantasy in the best light. I'm not sure what the player is doing. Is the player doing anything there? It's hard to know. Like, probably, like maybe you try to capture maybe that is the cursor, or maybe you try to capture the cursor. The cursor is very small, I think. So this is a problem. I think the cursor is there, but it moves. So it's hard for the player to know if they're interacting or not, because sometimes these games are completely idle and sometimes they're active. And I imagine that people who like this kinds of games, they want to know which is it. Um, so yeah, I think that the trailer needs redoing. The screenshots are fine. Maybe you want to show more of the progression, like things starting from very small to very big, because it's a bit samey right now. I don't really see what's the incremental thing about it. What's getting incremented, right? And here you start with the start. Here you want to start with the end. You want to see the awesome chain reactions right here. You want to do the boring part. Start with a bang. This is very long. These titles need to be short and to the point, and then you can have some description. And it's better if you can put this title in an image, make an image with a cool font from your game. And yeah. Here, I think this is important to show like the various upgrades. This is not a very good capture. You might not even want to capture from the game here. You might want to just show the trees opening up, like even though that's not what happens in the game, you just show all of the icons showing up, you know. And then you want a couple more of those. It kind of seems to end abruptly. But yeah, you're certainly doing your tags right because you have a bunch of these other games here. Hmm. Your capsule is not very good. It's not very readable. I don't know what this is. There's too much going on. The text is kind of readable, but it's also kind of dark. I wish it was bolder and white, or at least clearer. And here in the background, you also have a bunch of stuff, but then the game is actually quite empty. So I don't think this is a very good representation of the game. And that would be my feedback for Criticality. Good luck. Next is Climbing Simplified. Climbing Simplified is a minimal physics, is a minimal, comma, physics-based. This comma kind of cuts the flow a little bit. Is a minimal physics-based puzzle game about mastering the art of climbing. In it, you can explore countless environments, different climbing disciplines, and tons of holds, including hold modifiers and various weather effects. This is a strange mismatch where it feels like a very in-depth game where you have different climbing disciplines, and it seems like very realistic in that sense. But then it's called Climbing Simplified, and the art is super simple. So which is it? Is it about complex climbing or is it about simple climbing? That's my first impression from that. Your capsule is obviously representative of the game, so in that sense, it's not bad. But it is very simple, so don't expect much, right? If you present little, expect little. I'm not sure that the editor. I think having an editor is cool, but really, what is the percentage of players that uses an editor? That's probably maybe 10%. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And you really stay a long time in this footage of the editor. I don't think this is good for the trailer. You're trying to get people excited. This is very boring. Um, yeah. So probably want a bit of a story in this trailer instead. Instead of like listing features, you want to tell this little story of this guy climbing, even though it's not a story game, right? I get it. But you want to have some kind of storyline with beginning, middle, and end in the trailer, and some, a climax, and like this big near the end, you want to have this big challenging moment where like, oh, you're facing this hardship and all, there's this tension moment, which is like here there's no tension moment, you're beginning a climb. So towards the end of the trailer you want to have build up to this point where you're going to make that last grab to reach the end. Will he make it? This is the kind of storytelling intention, you want to put it in trailer. This is not it at all. So that would be my suggestion. I think you have committed to the simple art style. I don't think it's a good idea, but it's certainly too late to change now. You have committed it in the title, in the art style. Um, okay, I wouldn't, but good luck with that. Um, you don't have GIFs here, so you want to put GIFs or little videos showing gameplay here. And you also want to make this titles into images instead of written out. So you really need to work on your about this game. Your tags are probably good, but you are making a game in a hard genre, some kind of platformer. This does feel kind of more like a Flash game. Like those hard controls Flash games. I don't think this is exactly what you're going for, but it does follow from that aesthetic. Stick fight animations. If you would lean into that, that would probably be a good idea, but it might be a different thing from what you're going for. So yeah, good luck with climbing simplified. This is the next one is shapes in music. A brutal bullet hell rhythm game where every death is your fault. Okay, this is a good beginning line. Brutal bullet hell rhythm game where every death is your fault. I get the vibe, if not the mechanic, which I think is important. Dodge hazards, dash and die to a great soundtrack synced to intense levels. I don't. This is probably not a great move to call your soundtrack a great soundtrack because it feels like um, it doesn't feel honest. Like, of course, the salesman is going to tell you this is the greatest, this is the best ever. So here, probably instead of saying it's a great soundtrack, you want to say like the musical style. So it's like to a dubstep soundtrack or a trip hop soundtrack, something like that. And you can talk about that, but don't say it's great, because that's up to me to decide, right? You're taking away my agency when you call your soundtrack great. So that doesn't feel good. Master 4 more game modes built to ruin your evenings. I'm not sure when I have my evenings ruined. Why do you hate me? You know. So I don't think this is a good line. I feel disliked. Probably don't want to make your players feel disliked. Can you beat each level without taking a hit? I think this is a fine line. It's like a challenging. Can you do it? Can you beat it? It's a hard game, so that text in yellow up there is very bad. It doesn't match the aesthetic of the game, and it's not centered. So I would expect a centered text, and it kind of is vibing with the music, since you promote this idea of synced soundtrack so much. So you want to show that in some way, right? You want to get into that mindset, get the player understanding, oh, hey, the game is reacting to the soundtrack, the stuff I care about, the soundtrack matching things. So maybe the text is like moving and changing color, and it's a cool text. It's not some generic bad font. Like this is what sometimes New Roman kind of thing. And it's hard to read. It's hard to take my eyes up there to see it. Well, the soundtrack is definitely intense. I don't know about great, but it's definitely intense. Maybe you want to use that word. Select a background is not something you want to put here in the trailer. This is a minor feature if you have that. Like, yeah, maybe like you want to use the customization thing. Like you can customize everything, and then you list them in like a sequence. But this is very slow and boring to show a bunch of text like this. You generally don't want small text in your trailer. You want big. And then it goes on. So this is weird. It's like play free demo now, like the trailer is ended, and then it goes into a level. This is weird. You want a separate video for this? And then it just gets weird. I don't know what's going on anymore. So yeah, not good. You have cool text here, so you can certainly have cool text in your trailer as well. You definitely want footage recordings of the game here. I think you want to play up the customization more than just customize colors and backgrounds. Like extremely customizable. You want to word it a little bit cooler if that is a selling point. I don't know these kinds of games very well, so if this is an important selling point for people, this is just a bit boring. This feels like a side thing. If it really is amazing, make it sound amazing. And if it's not amazing, don't mention it at all. Because here you want to mention what is really amazing. Okay, here you mentioned the various genres of the soundtrack, which I think is good. I don't know if the variety is a good thing. Usually people have some genres that they like, right? But I don't know this audience too much, so I can't really talk about that. I think your capsule is passable if a bit generic. I mean, it's a very generic, right? It's not super readable either. It's like a 6 out of 10 in my book. Um, it looks nice enough, right? It's not bad, but there's no personality, there's no twist. Okay, there was shapes and music. This is Sleeping Phantom, a 2D puzzle platformer where you are a ghost who can't jump. Instead, phase into the ground and flip gravity to navigate negative space. This is a bit hard to read. I'm not sure how I would word it. I don't know the game too much. Um, you want the first, I think the want the first sentence to be short and to the point. This is a bit long and convoluted. Um, you don't need 2D. People will know it. People can see. So I would go a puzzle platformer where you can't jump. So if that's your hook, it's like a puzzle platformer where you can't jump, period. And then you can talk about the ghost thing later. Um, I'm not sure that explaining the mechanic here is great, but there seems to be something important about flip gravity. But it's like I would make the sound cool, right? Instead of being like, oh, instead of getting to jump, you get this other thing. It's kind of like boring or like you're settling. Oh, since you can't jump, you can do this other thing. Make it awesome. You can flip gravity. Wow. You want this kind of feeling. Oh, look at what you can do in this awesome game. You can't flip gravity in real life, but in this game, you get to, you know what I'm trying to say? Make it sound cool. Uh, I think it's interesting that you can like go into the level. This was not mentioned, or I didn't understand that. It feels like a game breaking in some sense. So if you are going for game breaking, you might want to mention that in some way, like mind bending, game breaking, break the rules of physics, break the rules of the world. You can go through things, you know, and make it sound cool. I think your trailer, it shows the game, it shows the mechanic, um, which is good. It takes a while to start. You don't need your first 5 seconds are so important in your trailer because it's most people will stop watching after the first 5 seconds. Like you have this first 5 seconds, you want to jump cut some footage instead of showing a single uh, take of a scene. So you want to show the highlights, your first 5 to 10 seconds, maybe even 15. You want to show some real highlights of the game. And you start with the player kind of vacillating, moving one side, moving the other, doing nothing, standing still. No, this is just your prime real estate in terms of the trailer. This is where you want to punch the player in the face with cool stuff, and you're showing the controls. No, don't do that. Maybe you start with that, right? You start without the space thing. You kind of have this cleaner image where you can see the character more clearly because here they're bending with the coffin in the background. You want to show the character very clearly, and then the person thinking, "Oh, this is another boring platformer," and then you go whoop into the level, into the world, and then whoop out into the top. You want to start with that right away, but then it gets a bit samey. I think like, okay, you can do that. What else can you do? And apparently, it's like, oh, not much. You just keep doing that again and again. So maybe work on that part as well. Um, no jumping, just flipping. Again, here you want to turn this into images. This text it's more readable, and if you can use a cool font from your game and center it, and it's like really big and it says no jumping, just flipping. Or I don't think this is actually too cool of a text, but I think you can come up with something nicer. Only little ghosts. I'm not sure this is a great selling point. Like you can see that the character is a little ghost. I think people get that. You don't have to put a title for it. It's like what's cool about the ghost? Master gravity with unique mechanics. Um, Unique mechanics is too vague. You want to say what those mechanics are. Collect pumpkins and unlock levels with so many dots here. Definitely remove this. There's no reason for this. And these are not selling points either. So you want to do hundreds of collectibles for people to collect. Also, unlock levels, not a selling point. It's just a feature. It's just a boring thing. So you want to say what's interesting about the levels. Um, like the secret areas, like discover secret areas with amazing rewards, right? Designed for every player. Uh, you probably don't want to say that. You want to say which player this is. You want the exact opposite. We want people to feel like you're speaking to them, and it's like, yes, this is my kind of game. This is for me. And if it is for every player, then it's probably not for me. And whoever is reading that is going to identify with that. Nobody wants to be everyone. So you wanna say what kind of player this is for, and it's like this is for players who don't like reading. So you wanna say that uh, don't like reading. There's no text in this game. It's just pure awesome gameplay, right? So this is the targeting that you want to be doing. Controller and keyboard support is it's not a thing you put in here. It's something that shows up in the Steam stuff somewhere. Like, oh, okay, there's full controller support. You don't need to put that in there. Steam Deck compatible, I think, is okay. I think there's a better place for it as well. Some people really care about this though, so I won't say no to this. Short focus levels that respect your time. Okay, so this is not for every player, because some players like very long levels, right? So this is telling me like, okay, you want a platformer with short levels that respect your time, then this is the game for you. Why you love it? Um, I don't think this is a good point to make. Just tell me why I will love it. Mention the feature, right? Go straight into that. This is too vague. The whole thing is useless. And you don't mention capsule art credits here. Your capsule is weird. I have to say. The main problem is that it looks like the bat is the main character. Because there's one bat and it's very central and it gets a lot of the attention. And then the ghosts feel like enemies that go in and out of the ground. I can see what the artist was trying to do. The art looks nice, but there is that problem. It doesn't quite work for me. I would do the ghost more prominently and upright. And if the bats are in, then they're in the background. There are a lot of them, and that way you don't have that problem. The striped background is a bit boring, and it doesn't seem like the stripes are particularly meaningful in the game. Doesn't seem like a game about a bunch of stripes, or the stripes are not aesthetically significant. So you probably want a cooler background since you have that space to put that in too. So um, I give 5 out of 10 to the capsule since I'm making up scores today. Um, the text is not super readable. It's not super unreadable, but I think it could be clearer, could be bigger, and the font could be more readable. The color could be lighter for more contrast. And that was Flipping Phantom. Um, I've given feedback to this one in the previous video. Shop Crush. Ooh. So I'll be quick on this one. I don't like this one. Run a mysterious thrift shop in a story-rich visual novel. Oh, that's a genre that I might enjoy. Meet eccentric customers, uncover hidden illusions, and unveil the sinister secret of your shop. Unveil. Ugh, it's bad art. This is AI, right? I don't know where to start. I think in some cases, the feedback is just very different. And what I'm trying to say is that I don't think you have good taste, or at least we don't share taste. I don't. That probably sounds harsh, right? I apologize for that, but there's a lot of aesthetically wrong here. Like there's a huge visual mismatch um here with this AI art stuff, and then you have this stuff which is bad. I think you're too far away from knowing what is aesthetically pleasing or being able to put that into a product. So what is my feedback here? It's like being realistic. Because I don't think small things are going to really help you. I think the good feedback is either to team up with somebody with a better aesthetic sensibilities and give them the um, ownership over that part of the game. You know, it's like, oh, I'll defer aesthetics to you. Um, or kind of indirectly improve your taste by living life and having aesthetic experiences. So, you know, going to museums, reading good books, you know, looking at good art, enjoying the things that you do enjoy for sure. You don't have to become a different person, but you want to raise up the your aesthetic sensibility or your aesthetic taste. So that would be my suggestion there. Um, so yeah, I'll keep this one to that. And this is gonna be it for the feedback today. Thank you so much, and bye bye.